Hello, everybody, and welcome to another awesome episode of Movie Guys Podcast. Tonight we're talking about Star Wars, The Last Jedi, starring Mark Hamill, Adam Driver, Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Andy Serkis, and the late, great Carrie Fisher. Also directed by Ryan Johnson. This is Jordan along here with Eric and Ed like always. Eric, how you doing tonight?
I'm just hanging out, man. Excited to talk about this movie. It's going to be a good one. Ed, how about you?
Well, I'm doing okay. I've now been able to process this movie, so emotionally I'm much better. It's been a couple of days since I've seen it. Eric, I know it's been a couple of days since you've seen it, but Jordan, buddy,
Yeah.
you're fresh off like 10 minutes. You just saw it 10 minutes ago, so I'm eager to hear your fresh results.
Absolutely.
Your emotions.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just saw it here. We it's a little behind the scenes here for the fans. We always record on Wednesdays, but sorry, boys. $5 on Tuesdays. I had to see it for $5.
I just
Shame
want to
on me.
say, just to give you shit, that officially, we have both seen it twice to your one.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Twice before you got to see it the first time, right?
Yes.
So get on it. Well, I guess also maybe it might speak to us.
Just to get in, you know what I mean? It's one of those things. I think this movie. I don't know your thoughts yet, Jordan. We haven't talked, but I think this movie, honestly, is better the second time around, only because you know what's coming. You know what I mean? Like once you get another viewing. So it's definitely something I'd like to explore when we have a conversation, when we talk about it during the show.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well, guys, you know, after coming off of the boot heels 2 years ago with Episode 7, The Force Awakens, I mean, that movie has been 2 years ago, and we're going to be celebrating our 2-year anniversary soon, and that was our first official episode that we ever did. And, you know, the Force Awakens was definitely a very safe movie. It was the studio, and it was Abrams saying, okay, everybody, sorry about those prequels. We're going to make a safe movie here. And they did, and I was really excited to get into The Last Jedi. When I first, of course, like always, when they get ready to release it, they come out with the Last Jedi. Eric, Ed, what did you guys think about that? I mean, Eric, what did you feel about the title, Star Wars, The Last Jedi? I mean, that's better than Attack of the Clones, right?
Well, yeah. I guess Attack of anything is kind of like, man, Attack of the 50-foot woman. Like, come on. But like, The Last Jedi. Well, here's the thing: is that often when you hear like the last something, it's just like, okay, is it really the last though? Especially in Hollywood nowadays, when it's the last something part two. It's like, wait a minute. I thought it was the last of, but so I meet it with apprehension in what does the last mean, So I was curious to know what that was going to be, what it signified. I was very happy. I had a lot of questions. I thought it was going to be kind of like, oh, does that mean that Luke is like the last Jedi, and then that's kind of it? But when it came to that part, I was satisfied with it. Yeah, the name's not my favorite, but after seeing it, it's very relevant, and I'd say it works. It's a working title, and it works.
Ed, what about you? What do you think of the title, The Last Jedi?
Well, going into the movie, I thought it was a great title. I thought it was kind of risky. I thought that, it was basically what Disney's been doing is giving us red herrings to a certain degree. Like, who's the last Jedi? It had us asking questions for however long it had been since they had released the name. Probably 6 months at least.
Yeah.
So we've been talking at least about that. There's a ton of videos out there. We had internal debates about potentially what it meant when it got first released. And after seeing the movie, I mean, it was definitely something that was an appropriate title for the movie. You know, I don't like the direction they went after seeing everything, and I'll get into that in more detail. But you know, I mean, for this movie, it was an appropriate title. I can't necessarily say I like it or dislike it. We'll get more into that once we start talking about our feelings about the movie.
I mean, guys, when the teaser trailer came out and you saw Luke and you saw Rey and Kylo and Luke says that famous line, "It's time for the Jedi to die," or "It's time for the Jedi to be over." I mean, like it was jaw dropping because Luke
Mhm.
Skywalker is your childhood hero for us. I mean, we're all in our 30s here. I mean, we grew up with Luke. You know, so for Luke to say the Jedi are going to end, it's like, oh, this is going to be darker than Empire. Oh my God. Like, you just like all these emotions and all this like Star Wars nerd boner just comes up. And you're just like, what do I do? What do I do? Like, how do I process this? So I was really excited about the title of it. I think it's one of the best titles of the whole saga.
Well,
personally.
It gives ambiguity. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
I mean,
think
it
it's
was
the best. So, but I mean,
it
like
was
Empire Strikes Back is the best in my opinion. Title.
well, yeah. I mean, and then you know, Revenge of the Sith, in my opinion, is probably the name of is like the best title. I mean, I would put this on the same equal playing field in terms of title as the Phantom Menace. Like you don't know exactly what it means until you see the movie.
I
Menace,
mean,
you didn't know that there was the Sith. You know, it was a Phantom Menace. Even the Jedi didn't know. Only we, the viewers, did. The Jedi didn't know till the third episode.
right. So I mean, the titles are, I mean, not an issue, I guess. I never.
No,
It seemed to very kind of. I don't know. A New Hope is, if you're going to compare all of them, would be the best one. Come on, it's a New Hope, man. And I always say that after knowing the story now, you know, and how each subtitle, has a certain kind of theme or effect towards that movie. A New Hope just fixed it perfectly, man. It's just like that's where we're at. We've come a
great
long
point.
way now to now, and it's just dark times, man. Like Empire's taken over. Now we have this New Hope arising in a little farm, a little moisture farm
Farm,
on Tatooine.
Farm Boy Luke.
Farm Boy Luke. Yeah. So I mean, I can tell that we were all excited to get into this. You know, we were debating if we should do a Star Wars prediction episode like we did 2 years, but we wanted to hold that off, folks. We wanted to get into the hype of this movie. I mean, this movie has been plagued with some interesting backstories, but I'm going to tell you this, and I really hope I don't spoil it for you here. But controversial statement here before we get into everything. For the first time ever in the Star Wars saga, and I'll say that one more time, for the first time ever in the Star Wars saga, we have an actual real director behind the camera here.
Uh,
Irving Kershner.
what do you mean you have a?
J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, I'm gonna
J.J.
say a
Abrams was fucking
fucking
great.
real director, man. Like J.J. Abrams has, done a bunch before this, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
And,
like,
and
yeah. J.J. Abrams took something that even maybe is controversial to say has more stringent fans, I guess, like Star Trek, and basically turned their entire franchise upside down, and they thanked him for it. You know,
I was
like
surprised that they
I
picked
was.
this director.
why those? Because look, we're going to talk about Irving Kershner, who did Empire Strikes Back. Irving Kershner has not had a good track record since or before that movie, guys. He went on to do RoboCop 2, fellas. I
Well,
mean, like,
you gotta remember. Hang on a second. You gotta remember that Lucas has never been a member of the Directors Guild. Whoa, was that a fart? That definitely sounded like a fart.
I don't think so.
The sensitive
But
mic.
anyway, yeah, apparently. But anyway, so nobody that was in the Directors Guild could do his movies. I mean, his best friend Steven Spielberg, he wanted to do Star Wars movies, and Spielberg wanted to do the Star Wars movie, but they wouldn't let him. The Directors Guild wouldn't let them, so he had to take what he could get. And let's face it, the movies didn't need good direction because they were fucking hokey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they didn't need directors. I mean, they had the story. They had the beautiful, brilliant story to go with it. So they didn't really need good direction.
But which is why I argue finally now get a good director. That's why that's why I'm arguing that.
Well, I'm disagreeing with you, J.J. Abrams. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Jumper. I think Jumper is really innovative. I mean,
Looper.
I'm gonna get you guys are gonna catch. You're gonna catch. I'm gonna catch. Oh, that's what I meant. Jumper. Yeah, Looper. Jumper's the. Speaking of Hayden Christensen, but
yeah, what to say?
Yeah, Yeah, but my point is like I like that movie, and it was kind of unique to a certain degree, but at the same time, J.J. Abrams, hands down, is the best director ever had.
See, I'm gonna go complete opposite on that one, but we can go on for hours about that.
A lot of people would feel the same way, though. I mean, so it's not gonna never. Everyone's not gonna be happy. It's basically what it is. And I liked Ryan Johnson's previous work too. I liked The Brothers Bloom, which I think I was the only person who did. Uh, but like, I mean, I liked his Brick was obviously was a fun one. So, well, not necessarily a fun one. It was a fucking weird, depressing movie, very fast too. But so yeah, that was a weird one. But yeah, obviously the guy he's done what the big episodes of Breaking Bad, like the big one, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like he's a TV director for the most part.
Yeah, looks like it. Well, either way, when you say a real director, I mean, when it comes to Star Wars, like, and you have a Disney budget, it's gonna be okay. You know, I'd say any fanboy with kind of with the help that they're gonna have is gonna be able to make a halfway decent Star Wars movie. And this guy just obviously has a bit more experience. I'm not trying to discredit him whatsoever. I enjoy what he does, but I'm just saying that when it comes to Star Wars movies, you're basically only thing that needs to be worried or you need to worry about is just the story. Like everything else will come with its own fandom, with its own bias. It's just the story you got to work on.
Yeah, legitimately, they could have had a fucking half-retarded monkey direct this movie, and it was still a broken box.
Could have been a cartoon. It could have been a claymation cartoon. People would still go see it.
Yeah, it still would have made $300 million in its first weekend.
Guys, those are two very good arguments. But my end argument on the director, though, is that I tell in this movie, this is the completely different Star Wars movie that I've ever seen. Guys, we've all grew up with Star Wars. We've seen Star Wars a billion times. This is the one Star Wars movie that is not formulaic. That's why I'm saying that J.J. Abrams was not a good director for The Force Awakens, because it was very safe, very formulaic. Let's hit the beats. Let's do something like this.
I completely disagree with you on everything you're saying. There are
Ryan,
there's something. All three of the things that you just said are wrong. To steal a line from this movie, everything you said is incorrect.
You know what though? I'll say real quick is that no matter who the director is, I think that Disney has their I guess their mouse to gloves on it, just wrapped around this fucking story, and they're not letting it go. I think they're doing it right. And I tend to notice something with The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi is that it's sticking pretty close to the beats of New Hope and Empire Strikes Back as far as I wouldn't say tempo so much, because this Last Jedi kind of lacked a lot of speed, a lot of um, I guess tempo. Pacing. That's what I was word I was trying to find. There was a lack of pacing there. It was ill-timed or stretched out a bit longer than it needed to be. So that was an argument that a lot of people had. Story was still there, but I think that it's hitting on a lot of the same beats that the original trilogy are on, and there's your safe mode right there. So you're complaining about J.J. Abrams being him playing it safe, or that Ryan Johnson was able to just kind of. It's I think they're sticking to the story.
Okay. All right. Well, those are very interesting points. And we'll leave it up to the to decide. We'll get into Star Wars. So if you have not seen The Last Jedi and you don't want to be spoiled, I don't want to tell you this, but you got to turn off the show because we're going to spoil the shit out of it, especially here with the plot summary starting right. So for The Last Jedi, I'm gonna say just a few, just a few weeks, maybe a few days have gone by, and the Rebel Alliance is in shambles. There's only maybe like 400 of them left. Only a few Starfleet left, and Rey and Chewbacca have taken the Millennium Falcon over to Walker to actually get him to join the fight. And he does not say anything epic. He just looks at her and he wants nothing to do with it. While that's going on, Kylo Ren and you guys have to help me here. General Hux. Sorry, guys. Thank you. And General Hux are trying to destroy the rest of the Rebel Alliance fleet as they try to make it to an unknown destination. Princess Leia gets shot out of the bridge, and she does a Force Superman fly, which we'll talk about that one.
Jesus
and
fucking Christ.
and all of a sudden, Luke Skywalker knows and senses that Rey is just as powerful as Kylo Ren or Ben Solo was, and he refuses to train her until something mysterious happens when she is on a rock and he sees more power. Going into the end of the movie here, fellas, we find out that Snoke has been telepathically helping Kylo Ren and Rey talk to each other so they can set everything up so they can have a meeting. Kylo Ren kills Snoke, so we don't know much about Snoke at all. He is in this movie, but not much. And Kylo Ren wants Rey to join him to not create a new empire or a new order, but just a new version of the galaxy be. Rey, of course, refused in the summer version of Hoth. That's what it looks like, but it's like a sugar planet. And salt, yeah. And while that is going on, Yoda comes in as a Force ghost and helps Luke burn the rest of the Jedi Temple in the tree. And a major battle between Kylo and Luke ensues, with Luke being a hologram. And after the battle, Luke, at peace finally with himself, and hopefully the audience is at peace with him, dies away, and credits roll.
Well,
that's the basic.
That's a good summary. I mean, you literally told the story in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't tell the other part about the other stuff, but anyway,
I mean, we'll get into all that.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
let's do
but
that.
But anyway,
where do we start?
So the movie starts with opening credits, and it got me right into it. Boom, the fanfare, Star Wars opening credits, Last Jedi, and it gets us right into an epic space battle here. This is the last of the Rebel fleet. I mean, this is it. I mean, before in Episode 4, 5, and 6, the Rebels were everywhere, but this is it. Just a handful of ships, and wow, the New Order, the First Order is just destroying them left and right, aren't they?
They got guns.
I want to hop in here, and a point that you're making is you're calling them the Rebel Fleet, which is obviously what they're referred to a lot in this movie. Where the fuck aren't they called the Resistance? By the way,
the Resistance.
Like, they completely ignored that concept. Ryan Johnson basically said, "Fuck you," created in the Resistance. They're the rebels again. It's the Rebel Alliance. Like, they're called the rebels the whole time.
No, that's not. I mean, they get called both. They're mostly the Resistance, and then the other half of the movie is rebels. I mean, they go
Rebel
back
scum.
and forth with it.
Mm-hmm.
Rebel scum. Yeah. So, okay, this movie was 2.5 hours long. But I want to talk about Rey meeting Luke. And she gives Luke the lightsaber at the end of The Force Awakens, and you're waiting for it. You're waiting for that epic monologue or that epic speech that Luke's going to give of, let's train you to become a Jedi. You know, you're expecting this for 2 years, and then he gets the lightsaber and just tosses it off the cliff. He has nothing to do with it. The last time that we really kind of saw Luke, folks, was at the Return of the Jedi. We saw him for a blip second in Force Awakens, but how do we feel about where Luke is right now in this movie? Luke is just an old...
He's a bitch, man. He's a
Luke-
whiny little... He's an emo, whiny, wah.
Yeah. Yeah, Luke
mean-
is old man Logan.
We've talked about this for forever. That in the Star Wars franchise, those who think that Luke is like the ultimate hero, he's not. I mean, he's a fucking bitch. He whines and complains the whole time, and the only reason he goes to Mos Eisley with Ben Kenobi is because he's got nowhere to go because he didn't want to go. You know, he wanted to join the Rebel Alliance because his friends were, and his uncle was like, "No, you're kind of a pussy. You can't. You need to stay here and be a moisture farmer." And that's continued throughout the whole series until he does what he has to. He comes back and he saves his friends and he makes this plan in Return of the Jedi and whatnot. And we see it here. It's a continuation. He says that I finally decided that because of my nephew, that I was going to train other Jedi. And I fucked up, and I'm never ever doing it again. And in fact, I'm cutting myself off from the Force. I'm not a fucking hero. I'm just going to be a bitch and go here on this tiny planet to die.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
let himself down. That's everything, too. It's just like, dude, from where you've been and what you've been, or where you've gone and what you've been through, like, that's the moment where you're just gonna just say, no more. Like,
Yes, absolutely. I think this is a great place where we come up with Luke. I mean, who hasn't gone through this in life? I mean, like, that's what I'm saying, that for once we have a real director, because this is also written by Rian Johnson, who was telling a story. Why wouldn't Luke be like this? I mean,
You're
think
one
about
of
that,
those
guy.
people, Jordan. Ugh, I'm so disappointed in you. You're one of those people.
I can see
get
a
it.
lot of
He's just a stubborn person,
He's
and
broken.
yeah,
Luke is, I mean, guys, I can see a lot of myself in Luke. You know, I have personally made a lot of decisions in my life where I'm surrounded by a bunch of people and thinking everything is going to be great. And then something terrible happens. And then you lose all those people. And then you're sitting there going, I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to just be a hermit and watch me and masturbate. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like,
but guess what? You
I
fucking
get
got
that.
up the next day. You fucking got up the next day and you went to work and you did what you have to do. So even you, Jordan, are more heroic than fucking Luke Skywalker in this movie, right?
I disagree that he is not heroic. I think that this is a man that is broken, and I think this is a man trying to find himself because he was trying to restore
He's not
balance
trying
in
to
the Force.
find him. No, he's not.
He's running
First of all,
away.
his dad brought balance to the Force because his dad was the chosen one, and just brought balance to the Force when he fucking killed the Emperor in 6, right? So this movie comes up, and he ran away from his problems. I would love to run away from my problems, but I can't afford to do that. You know, so I just drink more. Like
yeah,
there's a weird scene where he drinks out of some fucking hippo cow's. He drinks blue milk out of a fucking hippo cow's titty.
This was green
And he gives like
this
that.
time. It was green.
Oh, it was green. But like what? Like he becomes this hermit who shuts himself off from the Force because he doesn't want to get found, and he wants to die, but he's too big of a pussy to kill himself.
Well, no, he's not. I mean, he wants to die. He doesn't want to kill himself. I mean, there's no evidence that he wants to kill himself. But where he's at now as a character after leaving Episode 6 and finding out the backstory that he failed Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, I mean, like, heartbreaking for him.
He tried to kill him. He tried to fucking kill his nephew.
No, he didn't. No,
Yeah,
he
he
didn't.
did.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
yeah, he did.
What
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
the story
The truth finally comes out the third time that they tell you, because Luke says, like, Luke's version of the story is, I went there because Snoke had turned him, and I go there to stop him, and he pulls out his lightsaber, and he thinks he kills me, and then he kills half my students and takes the other half, and they become the Knights of Ren. And then Kylo tells you a story. He's like, no, that's not what happened. I fucking wake up, and my uncle is trying to fucking kill me, so I saved my own ass. And then the third time comes out when the truth finally comes out. Luke says, "Yeah, I went there. I went there to kill him. I was a split second, and in that split second, I changed my mind, and he woke up, and it was a misunderstanding."
Yes. Yes, you're right. He did not. He went there to find out that Kylo was going to turn. He thought the best thing to do was to kill him. Guys, I get that. Wouldn't you kill Hitler if you could if he was a baby? I'm just saying.
That's not the Jedi way, bro.
I
It's not the
understand this.
fucking Jedi way.
I understand this in the Jedi way, but Luke was never really officially a full-fledged Jedi, and we're not going to get into this review of straight Star Wars.
He's the last Jedi, first off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yep.
So I mean, like, it's just, I just personally like where Luke is in the story. I think it makes sense for the character. He does find himself when Yoda comes in at the towards the middle end there. And if Luke didn't have any redemption, Luke never would have showed up to try to stop or stall or do anything. So there's definitely some character buildup. So there's definitely redemption for him. I like
But
Luke in this movie.
You got to remember, Yoda, first of all, knows that Rey stole the Jedi texts because he was going to go. He was planning to go and burn it all because he had finally given up. He's done with the Jedi. He's done with himself. He's done with the Force. And Rey's never coming back, so I'm burning down the temple and getting rid of all the Jedi texts.
Yeah.
Yoda obviously knew that, so he was like, she's already got what she needs, bro. Here, boom, boom. Uses the Force to change fucking weather, and lightning strikes this fucking tree and burns it down. And then Luke's like, whoa, wait a minute, hang on, that was a bad idea. And then he goes to save the Jedi texts, not knowing they were stolen. And Yoda pushes him back, and like he's laying there, and he pops him on his fucking head and says, "You're an idiot. Like, she's good."
Yeah. You know, guys, speaking of Yoda in this movie too, how'd you guys feel? Eric, let's go with you real quick. Eric, how'd you feel that Yoda was an actual puppet in this one, not a CG creation?
I like that Yoda. At first, I was just like, "Well, that's a really blue," but then they toned down that glow, and I think it got a little bit easier on the eye. But I was very happy with it. Like, yes, now that looks good. That's a good looking Yoda right there, is what I said out loud.
Now that wasn't Frank Oz that did the voice, right? Because isn't Frank Oz?
Yeah, it was.
Is that Frank Oz? I thought he passed.
That was Frank Oz. No, he's not dead yet.
It just sounded different. So backtrack a little bit more now. Where is everybody else? So we got Leia, who is General Leia, who is in charge of the Resistance. She has the last remaining of the fleet. Finn wakes up in this, I don't know what you want to call it, but like this suit to help revive him or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, health chamber thing. And Poe is talking shit.
Back to tanks. They're called back to tanks, by the way.
Thank you. Okay. And then Poe is literally, by definition, trolling Hux, stall him so they can bring in their bombers.
Yeah. That was I like first that they kept the humor in.
Bombers. Oh yeah. You definitely, especially I would argue as dark as this. Because all coming in, ready to go off, and all of them destroyed. I'm like, is this mapping on the edge of your seat? Ed? Okay.
Oh, so I'm sorry. You cut out there. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you.
I said, what'd you think of the bomber?
Oh, well, I mean, at the beginning, I mean, I was okay with it being kind of like him trolling Hux, as you said. That scene, first of all, I mean, the best part about that scene was the end. I mean, it was cool. You had the one bomber left. But the end of that scene, when they go back on the ship and they jump into light speed, is Luke, or as Leia says, you may have done one good thing, but you've killed everybody in my fleet. You've killed all of my soldiers. Pilots.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was a great scene.
What was it all heroes, no leaders?
Yes.
Yeah.
So On that note, since you brought that up, Ed, Eric, how do you feel about this one? I'm not a fan of Poe. I just
Listen,
he's too much.
all the characters really had no development. I did not feel anything for any of these characters. They're kind of jerks. They're kind of selfish jerks, actually. Like, for the most part, the, I'm just saying that out of relation to all the storylines except for Kylo and Rey's, all the other, everyone else involved, just it's just selfish. I get why they're there in the universe, but like for Finn to have the status that he does, and for him to do what he does with that status, it's just like what the fuck, man? Like the Force has your back. It looks like, and I want to know why. So it's like, why are
Eric,
you Force
And
sensitive?
speaking of which, there's not a time in this movie that was uttered audibly, I have a bad feeling about this. However, Ryan Johnson says in that scene, BB-8 says it.
Oh,
well,
really?
anyway, yeah.
Yeah. But that's
Um,
just him. You fucking know. There's no way you can tell.
Yeah, well,
Eric,
that's him getting away with that, right?
Yeah.
Eric, I'll definitely agree with you on one character. Actually, two characters. Yeah, actually, you know what? I might backtrack. Eric, I agree with you on both.
All the characters, yeah.
All but Ray and Kylo Ren and Luke. I mean, like, but when you got Finn and Poe, you could tell that Ryan Johnson did not really have an interest in Finn or Poe. He didn't know where to take them. He didn't know what to do with them. Finn. Now, again, guys, this movie is days, not even like a full week from The Force Awakens. I mean, that's the timeline in this movie. And Rose, whose sister was the one person in the bomber to kill to destroy that big starship. She's saying that Finn's a war hero and everything, but it's only been a few days since the last movie. I
Another
just
big
want,
fucking problem with the stupid fucking movie. But go ahead.
They did all those bombers, and only one did the job.
yeah. Was it because they knew that all those bombers were going to be in a suicide mission and all they needed was just the one? I mean, I don't know.
I
Well,
don't
in
know.
any kind of wartime thing like that, you send multiple plants. Like if they had,
Oh, sure.
let's say, 5 bombers. They figured, okay, well, worst case scenario, we've got 5 bombers. One of them is bound to fucking get through.
Sure. I guess that works. 8 work. I mean, and how many they had? Like 6 or 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, however many. Yeah.
But
So
yeah, I get that.
So after the bomber scene happens, and Finn wants to go and try to save Rey, but he's stopped by Rose, and Rose is now a new character into the Star Wars universe, whose sister died on that bomber that destroyed the Starfleet. I'm sorry, that destroyed the starship that was going to a Star Destroyer, whatever you want to call it. And she stuns him because he was trying to escape. But a few scenes later, they come out of hyper. They come out of oh shit.
Hyperspace?
Hyperspace.
Thank you. I was gonna say hypersleep. Hyperspace. They come out of hyperspace and they get another big space battle, and Leia gets blown out of the bridge. She is in space. She's dead. A lot of people bitch about this. I'm curious of what you two feel. She somehow gets the strength from not breathing to Superman fly back to the ship. Eric, do you have a problem with that?
I mean, yeah, a little bit. We all knew that she was force sensitive, but like I'm giving it a pass. Like it's quite obvious that she's like the descendant of one of the most badass Siths of all time, right? Or Dark Lords ever, the best villain ever, right? And so Luke can't all, and she's a twin. So you think Luke's gonna get all that fucking mitochlor, whatever the hell those things are,
Midichlorians.
midichlorians? Yeah, Jesus. She probably got some of those things too, but we never get to see her kind of in action. It's always been in presence. She's always felt something, or it's always made reference that she's, oh, I feel, something like that. So maybe this is her force thing, just kind of acting. Like she doesn't know how to control it. Maybe it's just that, obviously, I don't know. You know what? You know what it is? Is that part of her coming back? It was just kind of like, what the fuck? I get that, but the bigger part of that was that Kylo chose to not shoot.
Well, yeah, and I agree with you. Like at that exact moment, you got to remember that like Snoke basically says to Kylo Ren, like it's because it's moments. It's maybe an hour after he just killed his dad. Points out how big of a pussy he's being for doing that, and how conflicted he is. And I just want to add that Adam Driver is fucking brilliant in this movie.
Really good, yeah.
But the scene when it happened, I thought, oh, so they cut her out of the movie completely. They got rid of her entire storyline because she died. This is their way to get rid of
That's what I thought.
her character. And then all of a sudden she uses the Force. Like if you're going to use the Force, that's okay. Like I'm okay with her being a Force wielder. Like you've got to imagine that Luke probably taught her some things how to use the Force, and she's not a fighter in the sense that she a lightsaber.
Yeah.
So I was okay with the concept of it, but like after going through the whole movie and knowing now what we know, you have to kill her off now, and that was the perfect out. They could have gone back because it happened in a year after the movie. Her scenes were done, but this happened a year ago. They could have done a ton of reshoots. I think that actually would have been the perfect moment to get rid of her.
Oh, I totally disagree. She needs an epic death. All of them need an epic death.
Well,
And Han got it last movie, and Luke got it this movie. I mean, Leia was not scheduled to die, I guess. But
If you think Luke had an epic death in this movie, you and I are going to fist fight.
it's all right. We can.
yeah, that wasn't my favorite. I like a lot of the stuff that happens in the movie. I understand why, and I get it. It's just not my favorite.
Wow, guys, we're at completely different odds here on this one.
Here, like, listen, again, there are some, after seeing it again, I'm really on board with the way, again, this whole Kylo and Rey thing is going. But again, just everything else, I just felt like it just wasn't needed. Like, it really, to the point right now where it's just like, you could have cut out, like, a lot of that, and it just wasn't needed. Again, it felt like a lot of it was like Empire Strikes Back. Like, the casino planet, whatever it was, it felt like Cloud City.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of certain things just
And
just fell into
And speaking
that. No, go
speaking
ahead.
of which, Benicio del Toro, who's the first legitimate actor ever introduced into this franchise after being a great legitimate actor.
Laura
And
Dern.
well, she's horrible in this movie, and I hate her character. But like Benicio del Toro, his character has you're introduced to him in an okay kind of way. Like I didn't have a problem with the way you're introduced to him, but they wasted his fucking character. They wasted a brilliant actor doing a great job in what should have been a pivotal character, what should have been Lando. Speaking of the Cloud City reference, he should have been Lando. Like in that whole scene, like okay, so he goes and he her her half moon kind of thing. He gives Rose back her half moon kind of thing after he agrees to break into the Snoke ship, and rats them out, and then he's just gone. He just bounces. He gets his money. He gets on the ship. And he fucking bounces.
Kind of like Lando
But Lando comes back. Like
in
he
the third
realizes
movie.
his mistake. No, in the second movie, he realizes his mistake and helps them escape.
Oh yeah, that's right.
that's
Well,
true. He does. Yeah.
you're right. You're right.
So
Well,
like that would have been like he should have been in that AT-AT Walker, not fucking BB-8. Like that's a
what if
huge plot mistake.
he did it? We just don't know yet. What if he actually, because two things is that his whole purpose was to move the plot along because Finn and Rose were getting together because they were going to recruit him, a code breaker, then so they could. I feel like I need to take a breath to describe their fucking plot. Really, they had to recruit the code breaker in order to break into a star destroyer, the lead star destroyer ship, and get into a certain part of the star destroyer ship and disable the hyperspeed tracking device. Right, the hyperspace tracking
Mhm.
device that's in there.
Yep.
So that only that one ship possesses because it's the upgraded model for some fucking reason. And that was his whole thing, is to go in there. So maybe he was able to disable it because they never did disable it. They got caught right before that they disabled it. So, which by the way, if that's the fucking case, like you could easily get the Millennium Falcon who that just was able to hyperspace in real quick, drop off Ray, hyperspace out, which fuck you, because how many times did it take for you to go, oh, it's not ready yet. You had to wait, but
The one time that the Falcon's hyperdrive
Chewie's so
works
fucking
is that
dope.
moment.
Yeah, Chewie's so good with it that he can just do boom boom real quick with that.
Mhm.
Yeah, so and we had two different people just kind of go on to the ship, by the way, too. So I guess Star Destroyers have like an open door policy that I was just unaware about either.
Well, guys, the
Well,
problem with that is, and I will say this: the problem with that is definitely the writing. I mean, because you have characters like Leia, and then her, and then the new woman who took over when she was in
Lord
when
Dern, Vice
Laura
Admiral.
Dern, Vice Admiral.
Holdo,
Yeah.
Vice Admiral Holdo.
Uh, they already had a sneaky little plan that none of the characters or us even knew. And that is, I think, a bad part with
Fuck
writing
you.
because exactly because you can't sit here and say, okay, so the plan is we have to go to this casino planet to get a code breaker to break in and do all this stuff. Everything you guys just said is correct. I 100% agree with you. And then all of a sudden go, wait a minute, there's a little planet up here and this has been our plan all along. Like, I'm
And
totally agree with you
they
guys
wash
on that.
hands of it too. Like that's the fucking
Yeah.
other thing too, is that first off, bitch, Poe is flipping tables over in the office. Tell him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
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 just tell him.
just tell them. Yeah, we're
Because
evacuating. There's a planet over there. Maybe you could, with your as pilot's mind, maybe you could help us out a little bit. We could throw like a distraction or shit like that. Maybe your idea, because you have this back fucking plan without us, this whole Finn thing. Maybe we could work together so you could disable the cloaking device so that we could, you could. Maybe if we let our powers combine, we can actually fucking do something. Poe, I understand
yeah.
his frustration because he doesn't fucking know anything, and he's actually doing. But the whole point of them withholding information is so that he would go behind their backs, and that's dumb.
Yes, Eric, you're right. 100% dumb. That's bad because it's like it's not just bad for the characters, it's just bad overall writing. I mean, uh a good script would have said, okay, great, we have to have Finn do something. So Finn is gonna go and do this as a distraction why we do this. So then the audience knows what's going on. Not necessarily every character has to know what's going on, but you at least gotta tell the audience what's going on. Because that's the part of the movie where it's like, wait a minute. So there was like 6 sneaky little plans going around, and it was confusing. It was confusing as all hell.
Have either of you guys ever watched the revamp of the Battlestar Galactica series?
No,
So
with Edward James
after the
Olmos.
yeah,
No.
so you got the premiere, which is an hour and a half sort of mini series kind of thing. The second episode is called 33. That episode and the subsequent episode, the Cylons are tracking the human colonies, the surviving colonists, every 33 minutes. So they have to jump into hyperspace, ever, and then every 33 minutes they follow them, right? Well,
Yeah.
they find out that they're being tracked through the lead fucking Cylon ship and so the way you have to stop them is to get onto the lead Cylon ship with a hacker and break into the fucking thing and stop them from tracking you for the split 5 minutes that they're going to be able to figure it out, and then you get the fuck off the ship and you go jump into hyperspace. Get the fuck out of there, and they can't track you anymore.
Is it a coincidence that
That's the plot.
Captain Phasma looks like a Cylon too?
Yeah, that's the plot of the first episode of Battlestar Galactica, the first 45-minute episode.
Well,
Guess what this was?
Yep.
Same fucking show. I literally watched Battlestar Galactica with fucking Luke Skywalker. That's what just happened.
Probably.
So that's the plot hole. This was not a Star Wars movie. This was a sci-fi movie that had Star Wars fucking attached to it. So that's why they got that. Well, I'm not trying to get into the discussions like where we're going to argue it. So that's where that writing came from. Ryan Johnson didn't fucking write that. Fucking sci-fi network writers wrote that, and they stole it.
Maybe. We don't know what came first. We don't know if that story has been told before. We can't jump to that conclusion. However, though, I hear what you're saying, because that is one of my biggest flaws in the movie. Because, Eric, you're right. Here's poor Poe, who is like gung-ho. Hey, I want to do this. I want to do this. And they're like, you don't know anything. Fuck you. And he's just like, God, tell me something. Like, just pull him aside and be like, hey, Poe, we're kind of doing this. And he'd be like, oh.
Yeah, I'll get my guys on side. I'll get my guys on your side.
Yeah, but then like even after for like later to like sit him down and like look at the planet, like look at that planet right there. Yeah. Well, we're gonna load this up and get everyone out, and he goes, oh, that's a great idea. Well, back, I'm back down to zero. Good thing you told me. I just like, yeah, I would be even more irate because it's just like you guys are dumbasses, man.
Yeah, he's the lead pilot in a group of less than 500 people. He's legitimately the third in command, second once Laura Dern is there, even though he's been demoted, but whatever. You fucking let him know what you're doing. It's Absolutely. Just, you let him know.
I also just want to say, too, in that part, too, because jumping ahead when they're obviously they're going away, but because the code breaker ratted them out and told them that, oh, there's going to be pod ships and something like that, too. And Vice Admiral does the kamikaze, which, again, my favorite part of the movie. It really is. It was just dope. But even the sound effect, too, was really cool, too.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, if it was that effective, then I'd be starting with that about every time. Every time I get into a fight and I'm going up against a Star Destroyer, I'd be like, hey, do we have one of those ships? Hey, let's get let's program that thing to do autopilot, or let's get a droid on there, or something like that, just to roll the full light speed ahead right through the middle of that fucking ship. Like, every time I'd be doing that.
Absolutely. No, yeah. That scene was amazing. I mean, that was some beautiful piece of special effects on that one. All right, so what goes on next is that Rey goes to, I'm going to say, the dark place as she's training with Luke underneath the hills of the island that she's in, and she wants to see her parents. She does not see her parents. She sees herself. She does not get the answers that she receives, and eventually, a few scenes later, she decides to leave to go and help her friends. Kind of the same way that Luke left Yoda in Empire Strikes Back to go save her friends.
Yep.
But she's going to confront Snoke and Kylo. She gets to the ship.
She thinks Kylo fucking Ren is going to turn to the light.
That's actually, but see, the thing is that is actually a very good piece of storytelling. Now, I'm contradicting myself, but we did have just one piece of bad storytelling. But this is actually really good script writing because he could possibly turn to the good side.
I have a rant about this. So if you guys want to say your shit first, and then I'll get my rant.
Okay, yeah. So let me get in, then you can get your rant because I'm very eager to hear it. So first of all, so Snoke connects their minds. They can read each other's minds. We know that that's been brought in previously. We know that she can read Kylo's and Kylo can read hers. So Snoke uses that connection and brings them together, knowing that Kylo Ren is weak, than a pussy, and knows that Rey is going to try and come and turn him and save him. Right. So first of all, how is she strong enough in the Force to be able to sense that from afar? You know, you can do that from close up to sense the conflict in him. Like she's not been taught. You know, this is the second time now that she's been told she needs a teacher, and she's like, "Yeah, that's fucking why I'm here, because you're the second person to tell me I need a teacher, Luke." And so, you know, it's just she's not trained, but she's supposedly so fucking strong in the Force. Go ahead, Eric. I want to hear your rant. Definitely.
Okay, so this first time I saw the movie, I got my feet wet and I got my questions. The second time I saw the movie, I looked at it, with a more special eye and just kind of a ear to the ground and really just kind of take it a lot bit more. And so this is what this is why I like this storyline a lot more. Um, from what I had seen, now just beforehand, I'll say this: I don't like that Snoke was so easily discarded after the mystery that we were given in The Force Awakens, and he's built up to be like this all powerful, like, oh my god. He even looks dope. The gradient chamber seems to be quite trendy now with both in this movie and in Blade Runner. It just seems to be kind of a thing. But either way, it looked really cool. Got a nice villain looking awesome. He talked too long, and that was like comically too long almost, and again, he got killed in the bitchiest way possible, but it made sense because after watching it again, all the movements that he was reading through Kylo Ren's mind all matched when he turned the hilt and the desire to light the lightsaber right through the person. So I get that. Um, Basically, what I get out of this is that we've come to a point in the Force where, coming from episode 1 to now, episode 1, you had Jedi by the dozens, by the dime of dozens over here. I remember in the Clone Wars, there was that Coliseum scene where there was just lightsabers everywhere from all these different Jedi's. I don't know who the fuck these Jedi's are. I don't care about them, but they're just everywhere. There was a school set up. They had a presence in the council. Like, they were established. They were a group. They were a religious group, and they had you know people in places everywhere. Right. We're at a point right now where it's dwindled down, dying more and more to basically just these two. Okay, to just the last two, just Luke and Rey on the light, and then Snoke and Kylo on the dark. That's it. You basically just have those two right now. And this is where I feel like there's this huge imbalance, because if the Force how I see it, is like this weighted thing, and before it was evenly distributed, and now it's like all the essence that could be welded through somebody is weighing heavy onto these two people, Kylo and Rey. So it is just a ball of raw, fucking indestructible power, and it is just, I don't even know what the hell. When Yoda was telling Luke that don't worry about it, she's got it. Yeah, that's what it is. They both have so much that they're just like, no. Those books, that's old shit. They're at like 5.0 right now. They're next level. Don't worry about the books, dude. They're next level. And when he's saying that, she's doing all these new powers, I need someone to teach me. He's like, listen, you're way advanced. You have too much power for that shit. Teachers ain't gonna teach you because they don't know how to teach you. So we have this new thing now. And I like that this whole. I think Stoke might have been bluffing about the connection part, because obviously he had died, but the connection still exists, is there. So maybe he was fooled into thinking that there was that he was the cause of that. I like that bridge part. I think that there's a connection, that there's a yin and yang between these two, and that might be a little bit too symbolic on that part too. But when they touch, they both have prophecies of each other. And this is where it got interesting to me, because Rey, first goes, Kylo, I see you turn to the light, and and there's good in you, and we know from these movies before, from the last movie before, that he is divided. He's always split. He wants to turn good. The light beckons him, but he wants to turn dark for whatever reason. Why? He gets his moment when he betrays Snoke, kills him, fights with Rey, and he has his moment. That's his turning point right there. Like that's a big turning point where he's just like, come on, I see this. Damn the old way. This is the old way is time to die. It's time to destroy all the old shit, and it's time to rebuild the new. And that was his turning point. But he had also predicted that she would turn. And I find that to be curious because we haven't seen that yet. And the second time I saw this, there was more and more characteristics of her having the dark side than he having it. Luke first said that she went straight to the dark. Didn't even resist. When you went straight dark. So that was one. The part when she was with Snoke and her rage, she just keeps on going, keeps on trying to attack. Boom, boom, boom. There's no control. There's no trying to poison. She's reckless. You know, she much like Anakin and her parents. She's like this do nothing fucking whatever. Like her parents are nothing. She's a piece of shit. So she has all this hate. She hates that she doesn't know her parents. She hates them for throwing her away. There's all this pent upness. I think that she's gonna go dark. I that's my prediction. I want to see that. I think we got a good indications to see that, and I that's where I want this story to go. That's what I get out of this is that there's going to be something with those two because they are literally the only two left, right? It's just Kylo and Rey. With ignore the hint at the end of the movie with the boy picking up or force grabbing the broom, but like that's what I'm thinking is that Kylo might eventually because that's the other part. He didn't kill Leia. The light took over. He has these glimmers that are really overpowering him. And what if he turns and becomes like the new light? So
And
Wow.
I'm excited to see all this.
on that, if I can just piggyback off you for just a second, I think the things you're talking about more to the Force Awakens than anything. In the Force Awakens, like we're introduced to the characters in the story, we know where the story is supposedly supposed to go. It says that when they met Force Awakens, it wasn't just in Rey; she's the main character, but it's awakened now. It's awake now in everybody. Is Finn Force sensitive? We know that little boy is. We know Leia is. We know that these people can sort of predict things as they go, but how they want them to go. Like Rey sees the future, but as she wants to see it. She wants to see Ben Solo again. And Kylo, when he's because both of them are undertrained, mind you, but he sees her future and it goes the way he wants it to go, which is her joining him because, as you say, she's nobody. And he has the most brilliant line, I think, and he delivers it with such beautiful callous. Speaks again to Adam Driver's an actor.
Yeah.
And he says, "You know who your parents are. You've seen it. They're nobodies. They were drunks who sold you for drinking money. You have no part in this story. There's no reason for you to even be here, but you're here, and that's to be with me." So like that, and that's the big reveal is that her parents are nobody. Yeah, it does, and he drives that stake right through her heart, and that's where Daisy Ridley is a brilliant actress. Is that she takes that, and you can see it in her the same way you saw Kylo Ren at the beginning of the movie broken in half. She's then broken in half. They do great. They're great right there.
So again, those two they were the movie to me. And everyone else, all that side story stuff was just Luke being bitchy about the whole stuff. Meh, whatever the hell. His little apparition at the end and then dying. I get it. It's symbolic. It's the Jedi's time to go. Um, I get that he's accepting that, and that's just kind of his noble way out. Sure, sure, whatever. It's not my favorite. It's not it's not the worst by any means. I enjoyed it. It's entertaining, but a lot of it was just unnecessary. I think a lot of it was just a little filler.
So my argument to go on this, guys, and then we'll get into our final reviews, is that I'm surprised you guys are not seeing what I'm seeing. That Rey is the new Yoda. I mean, that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen at the end of episode 9.
No.
Whether Rey kills or does not kill Kylo Ren, Rey doesn't need to be trained by Luke Skywalker, who at this point is a huge hardcore Jedi Master because she already has the powers in her because she is Yoda. At the end of episode 9, my prediction is that she is going to start a whole new Jedi Order. And unfortunately, maybe a vicious circle will discontinue. But we saw that kid with the broom who force grabbed that. She is the hero of the story. She is what every girl wants to be. She will not turn dark at all. She may contemplate it in the next movie, just like Luke Skywalker did in Return of the Jedi, but she will not turn. She is Yoda.
No,
Yoda.
they're both too big for just one to survive.
I'm telling you, she is Yoda. She is the new Yoda. That's what's going to happen. And, everybody was saying, the big questions going in this movie, who is Snoke and who's her parents? Well, we really didn't get the answers that we wanted for those two questions that we've been wondering. Who is Snoke? We don't know.
No.
I mean,
well, he's been around for a while.
No.
He's been around for a while, apparently.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
We don't know that. He is now an ancillary character because of the poor storytelling of Rian Johnson.
I don't think it's the poor storytelling of Rian Johnson. No, I mean, I don't think it's a poor storytelling of Rian Johnson. I just think that Snoke is not the big bad. The big bad is Kylo Ren, because whether we think that Kylo's going to switch or Rey's going to switch,
Supreme Leader.
Kylo is now the Supreme Leader. This is what he wants. I mean, regardless of him conflicting whether he should kill his mom or not or whatever that goes on with him, he is the Supreme Leader now. This is what he wants.
Well, now you get to see the First Order is now in shambles too. They're just as unstable as the Resistance are because they're being run by Supreme Leader Kylo, who's a whiny little baby and is very irrational with his emotions. General Hux is just waiting for the right moment to stab this dude in the back. We got to see that moment, which was a pretty good moment. That right there, it showed more in Hux in that moment than we got to see a lot of Finn in the entire fucking movie out of their development.
Yeah, because Hux gets owned multiple times in this movie. When we're first introduced to him and Snoke holograms his face onto their ship and knocks him flat on his face, which is kind of a chuckle moment. And then the next time we sort of see him for the most part in a main scene, he's in the Supreme Leader's chambers with him being chopped in half when you have a thing you don't need to see, which is fucking Snoke's tongue hanging out because he's laying there chopped in half. That was fucking stupid. And he's trying to pull out his gun to kill Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren wakes up. I'm the Supreme. They look at each other kind of for a moment and say, "Who's the Supreme Leader? You mean to control my army?" And then Kylo Ren force chokes him and says, "I'm the fucking Supreme Leader. I've got one thing over you that you'll never have over me." And then when he's shooting all the lasers from the at Luke, we find out it's a hologram. And not hologram, but a force projection.
Aberration.
And he says, He says, "Do you think you've got him?" And Kylo Ren does the Hulk Thor punch, but with the Force, and throws him against the wall of the walker. And then, which by the way, there's a huge plot hole because is he in the walker or is he in his fucking ship? Does he jump to his ship to be lowered down to fight Luke?
No, he's in his ship.
But anyway. No, they're in a walker, aren't they?
I thought they were in their ship above the walkers.
Well, maybe I missed that, but you
No,
know,
no, I know. It's either way. Go ahead.
yeah. So, Jordan, I want to know this about what you thought because neither Eric nor I knew anything going into this movie. And you and I had a conversation as I was walking into my second viewing, and you shared with me that you knew multiple things about the story. You didn't know everything, and I tried not to tell you anything, and I tried to make our conversation short because I didn't want to tell you anything. But I would, I'd like to break protocol here a little bit, if it's okay, because you knew the story somewhat going in. You knew most of the major things. I want to know what your thought and review is of the movie. And then, I actually kind of have a long diatribe about it. I'd like to go last if that's okay.
All right, there you go,
All right,
Jordan.
well,
Is it worth it?
yeah. So we're going to talk into our: is it worth it or is it not worth it? Is Star Wars: The Last Jedi worth it for me? Absolutely. This is what you need to do, fans. 1, 2, and 3, they do not exist. 4, 5, 6, and 7 and 8 exist. This movie is brilliant. I will still argue that this is in the hands of a real director, a director that wants to tell an interesting story that's not always going to go 100%, you know, the way that the formula wants to do. Yeah, there is a lot of formula stuff in the movie when it comes to like Empire references and whatnot. But I felt when I watched this movie that this was a different Star Wars movie. This was not your George Lucas, J.J. Abrams play it safe. I think that Rian Johnson did a lot of risk in this movie. Some risk paid off, some risk didn't. But I think he did a good job. I'm very upset that Luke is now dead. I mean, it's Luke motherfucking Skywalker,
Sure.
right? I mean, like this was my Superman growing up. I mean, this is the guy that defeated the Rancor. He's now dead, and it's very sad to say that. It's very sad to see him go, and it's very sad to see Luke Skywalker broken in this movie. I think it's a good idea for his character to have redemption at the end. But it is very heartbreaking to see Luke Skywalker, the man who you cheered on, just so blatantly not caring anymore. And it's just, wow, that sucks. Leia, you know what? Carrie Fisher, God rest her soul. I'm not going to talk shit about her, but Carrie Fisher's act in the movie was very subpar. This was the worst movie she's done in the Star Wars universe. It was not done well on her part. That's all I got to say about her because I'm not going to disrespect her and her family about it because I do feel bad about what happened. But I just not like her acting in it. But this movie should not have been called Star Wars: The Last Jedi. This should have been called Star Wars: Rey versus Kylo because that's the story that I wanted to see, and that's the story that made the most sense. Finn going to the Casino Planet, Benicio del Toro, who was a great actor, waste of an actor. He never should have been in this movie because he's not going to come back in Episode 9. I know he's not, and it's just a waste. And we didn't talk about this one, but here's shocking: Captain Phasma is now dead.
We don't know that she went out the same way that she did in episode 7, so she might go the same fucking way. I mean,
Maybe.
just don't
Maybe.
just ignore her. She's just there for looks now.
But what I think it is for me, overall, in a nutshell, just overall, I like the direction of where this movie went. I like that Rian Johnson killed off characters like Snoke. That it's not probably going to be interesting because there's probably a bigger bad. Like, what do they always say in episodes 1, 2, and 3? That there's always two. Well, Kylo's not really a Sith, so there has to be another big bad, probably, right? So maybe we'll get that in episode 9. But overall, The Last Jedi is definitely worth it. See this movie. Check it out. Eric, what do you say? Is Star Wars: The Last Jedi worth it or not worth it?
I'll keep mine short and sweet so that we can all anxiously hear what Ed has to say about it. Listen, it's a Star Wars movie. I did enjoy this movie. The scenes were well done. I enjoyed the fight scenes. Like the humor was fun too. When Poe was doing the troll, I enjoyed this movie for what it is. I enjoy it, of course. I like the Kylo and the Rey thing, as I said before. The plot is the plot's holes that are in the movie that I've stated before bother me. They do. but like the shots in this movie are awesome. They're well done. Like the fight scenes are well done. I can't deny that, you know? Like the any of the fight scenes. I don't know, by the way, like are those red guards just Imperial guards or are they actually the Knights of Ren because they're semi like light wielding? I don't know. So we're like, where are they at? Where are the Knights of Ren at? You know, are they doing different missions for? So maybe we'll find that out. But I'll have a lot of questions in this movie that I don't think I'm gonna get answers to because it's so different. Again, I'd say it's worth it. I really did have a good time watching the movie. I'm not gonna lie. The porgs don't bother me like they did some other people. It's marketing, and you gotta have that. BB-8 is just as cute. R2's back. C-3PO being a bitch as always. You know, I I enjoyed the movie, so I'd say it's worth it. It's definitely go and see it. It's not my favorite by any means. It's not my second. It's not even my second. It's not even the top three. But uh, for sure, I mean, I enjoyed it.
All right, Ed, is Star Wars: The Last Jedi worth it or not worth it?
I'll open by saying there will never be anything, in my opinion, that has the Star Wars tag that's not worth it. So yeah, I mean for that degree, it's worth it. And it's not a horrible sci-fi movie. Sci-fi is one of my favorite genres. I love watching sci-fi movies. And like I said, I loved Battlestar Galactica, and I loved the first season. So of course I'm going to like this movie because it's the same fucking plot. But kind of personal with Star Wars with me, and it's a story that Jordan, you partially know, Eric, you don't know, and only honestly my closest friends know. And I want to share this so that you understand my affinity to this story. When I had something happen, like I had a major head injury and I had a concussion, and it changed a lot of my life. It actually made me kind of depressed for a very long period of time. There was a moment. There were multiple moments, but the last moment, I did attempt to kill myself. It's even hard for me to talk about. I took a bunch and I was ready to go. I was done. I had a lot of. I mean, again, I had a major brain injury, and it changed my personality. And I'm not that person. I've overcome those things. But the thing that I wanted to do as my last moment on Earth was to watch the trilogy. I wanted to watch 4, 5, and 6. And I was at the end of 4, and I felt myself falling asleep. And the moment was, I need to finish watching this movie. And then all of a sudden, it triggered. My entire life turned around. I was scared. I knew what I was doing. I knew it. Like I had become cognizant because I wanted to watch the end of Star Wars. And I went downstairs and I threw up all the pills. And I don't know exactly how many. I don't even remember that. It's all a blur because there I am, and I was living at my dad's house at the time because I had just graduated college. And so there I am throwing up and gagging and crying and screaming and everything in the bathroom. My dad comes in and he says, "What's wrong?" And I told him, and I immediately put myself into a mental institution for a short period of time. And I was there for my birthday, I was there for Christmas, and I was there for New Year's, and I was there for Thanksgiving. And it's honestly, and I've come a long way, but personally I want to say that the reason that happened to me, the reason that I'm still on this fucking planet is because of this franchise. Because I wanted to watch. I was at the end of Empire. I hadn't finished it yet, and I wanted to watch. I wanted to finish watching it. So I give you guys that story because I want you to know that I feel this franchise saved my life. So when I see this movie, I loved Force Awakens. I thought J.J. Abrams did a brilliant job. I thought that, he didn't commercialize the movie any more than he really had to. I mean, Disney's going to take this and do what they've got to do, and I don't blame them. They own it. They can make whatever they want with it. I will be there on the first day when they open Star Wars Land in Disney World, right? I will be there. It's just going to happen. And to see that this movie, which has nothing to fucking do with Star Wars, it legitimately broke my heart. I walked out of the theater and I was so heartbroken at this movie because it is not a Star Wars movie. If you take it by itself as a standalone, like it's comparable to Rogue One. It's a sci-fi movie,
Yeah.
and I liked Rogue One more than this. I liked Rogue One more than this movie. It's a sci-fi movie that has a Star Wars tag, so that you go and fucking see it, and it's gonna make $500 million in its first week, and it's gonna make Disney a ton of money. I don't have a problem with Disney making a ton of money. I have no problems with any company making a ton of money off of entertainment, things like this. But like you're given the Porgs, which is legitimately the only reason those characters are put in there is to make fucking Furbies, and you're meant to like them. And I just was so annoyed with them. You're given a Luke that I'm okay with him being old and crotchety, and he actually came into fruition. The arguments that I've had with many friends of mine, and you two included, who Luke's a bitch. He's just not the character you think he is, and that's true here. But he wasn't like just being a bitch. He was. Mark Hamill didn't play Luke Skywalker. Mark Hamill played Luke Skywalker playing Yoda.
Okay.
You know, because he was a dick. Because he was a dick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, it wasn't even along those lines. Like, Ewan McGregor in Episode 3, he didn't play Obi-Wan. Ewan McGregor played Obi-Wan playing fucking Alec Guinness. You know what I mean? I mean, he did a brilliant job. It's an entertaining movie. It is. I mean, from a film standpoint, like taking away the fact that it's Star Wars, but they give you storylines that don't make sense. The Finn and Rose storyline. All of a sudden, you introduce a fucking love story. No, that's not how these are supposed to go. You know, you introduce a bad guy who's supposed to be the big bad, and the overarching story of Star Wars is that you have a bad guy who's turned back good. Like, that's what you're supposed to do with Kylo Ren and Ben Solo. He's evil, he kills his dad because he's trying to be bad. He's trying to be his grandfather. He's trying to be what Snoke wants him to be. And then you learn how he turns. That's the reveal in this fucking movie, is how he turns bad. Is how he turns to Snoke. To kill off the guy who turns him, who he's supposed to be the redeemed character. Rey's the main character who turns Kylo redeemed. That's how 7, 8, and 9 are supposed to go. That's Star Wars to me. So you kill off the big bad guy, and now what? Like, you make the guy who's supposed to be turned good into the big bad, and then you don't give us an explanation as to why. And then the big bad goes out like he's not even fucking... Rian Johnson ruined the story J.J. Abrams told me. And I love the story J.J. Abrams told me. And I like the story that he was trying to get the other two directors, and now he's got the third one, thank God. He's got the franchise back, because I think that he made up the story that said that he loved this movie so much that he wished he could direct it. I think he took over 9 because he hated the story so much that he developed so he could save it.
All right.
I mean, you know, yes, I might. In short and sweet, the answer is yes, only because it's fucking Star Wars, and maybe that's my fault, and maybe that's Disney's fault. But Rian Johnson, who I like some of his work, you know what I mean. I've prefaced that. I've said that. You take brilliant performances by Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley, and you give me fucking a 45-minute episode of Battlestar fucking Galactica. And which I love the show, but I mean, it's not Star Wars to me. So Rian Johnson did more bad for this movie than George Lucas ever could have. I would have rather had CGI dancing fucking strippers in goddamn Jabba's palace than I would have anything else in this entire movie. The Kylo and Rey storyline I liked. I mean, that's just is what it is. He did a decent job with that. But that was the natural way to go with this. It was only because he couldn't fuck that up. He legitimately fucked everything else up about this movie.
Wow.
So that's my final review. I only liked it because it was a Star Wars movie, and I think I only like it because it moves to number 9 that J.J. Abrams was going to save. But this movie, legitimately, as a Star Wars fanatic, broke my heart.
All right. Well, I think Ed agrees with a lot of the Star Wars fanatics out there who feels the same way as he does. But, of course, what do you guys feel? So definitely we wanted to say thank you so much for listening to this episode. And we hope you guys like some of the new structures that we are doing. We're continuing to revamp and change. And what did Kylo Ren say? Out with the old and in with the new, essentially, right?
Yep.
So there's going to be some
Mm-hmm.
new Movie Guys podcast stuff coming your guys' way in 2018. We will have one more episode for 2017, and that will be our second year episode, our second year just extravaganza talking about the year. We can't wait to get that to you guys. But make sure to check us out at movieguyspodcast.podbean.com, movieguyspodcast.com. On iTunes, search for Movie Guys Podcast. Also on Twitter at Movie Guys Pod. And search for us on iTunes, search Movie Guys Podcast. You can find this episode and many others, including other shows that are a part of Movie Guys Podcast. But Eric and Ed, thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Star Wars The Last Jedi. And we'll be back next week. Have a good night, guys.
May the force be with you.